what are your plans for the off season and possibly playing or just doing individual workouts?
Yeah, I mean, probably take a little bit of a break here, just for maybe a week. I don't really want to lose a ton of the stuff I've worked on, and just trying to get my body back to full health. There's some USA basketball stuff I need.
They misjudged the storm they were about to unleash, believing they could just remove her from the story. Caitlin Clark's exclusion from the Team USA selection for the Summer Games was already the most contentious decision in women's basketball history, but fresh material indicates that the disrespect went far beyond a straightforward rejection. We are discussing an almost unbelievable degree of pettiness. According to leaks from inside the selection process, there was an offer on the table that was so offensive that it was essentially meant to be turned down before the last door was shut in her face. There are rumors that league executives thought about giving Clark a position as a glorified alternate, but with a catch that went straight to the heart of her personality. They supposedly intended to give her jersey number 12 instead of her famous number 22. Jersey numbers are more than just numbers in the world of professional basketball. They are prestige symbols. In hoops culture, number 12 is commonly known as the benchwarmer special, the jersey you give to the final player on the squad in order to fill a spot. Players like Sophie Cunningham, an athlete renowned for her fire and grit, are said to have stepped up and refused to comply with the league's complex politics as a result of the offer, which was so disrespectful that it sparked a tremendous mutiny behind the scenes. This was a declaration of war against the new period rather than merely a roster selection. You must comprehend Caitlin Clark's brand in order to comprehend why this jersey number rumor is so shocking. She is an economy, not simply a player. Her name is connected with the number 22. It's in the record books, it's on the backs of thousands of fans, and it symbolizes the shift in women's sports. The purported suggestion by the Team USA selection committee that she wear number 12 was a deliberate attempt to damage her reputation. You are not the star here, it was implied. Being in this room at all is a blessing. This fits the gatekeeping storyline that has been prevalent throughout the entire season. The old guard, the seasoned veterans, have been quite reluctant to give up control of the kingdom. Clark would have visually submitted to the hierarchy and accepted her position as a backup to players like Diana Taurasi and Breanna Stewart if she had taken a spot wearing number 12. It would have served as a visual depiction of the reality check that Taurasi had promised her before to the start of the season. However, the committee failed to anticipate that other players in the league, those who have risen from the bottom, would recognize this as bullying disguised as etiquette. The decision had immediate repercussions, but everything changes when Sophie Cunningham enters the story. Cunningham is a standout player for the Phoenix Mercury who has never given up. It has frequently been viewed by rival fans as the antagonist. She is outspoken, tough, and well-versed in the game. Her purported decision to speak out against Clark's abuse marks a significant change in the dynamics of the locker room. The media frequently depicts Caitlin Clark in opposition to the WNBA, presuming that every seasoned player despises the newbie. However, Cunningham's stated dissatisfaction with the politics indicates that some players are tired of the gatekeeping. The writing on the wall is visible to them. They are aware that Clark is the unstoppable force. The powers that be are endangering the development of the entire sport by treating the league's most valuable asset with such flagrant disdain, giving her a scrub number and a different place. The league has lost the locker room if the rumors are accurate and players are discreetly objecting or declining to participate in the national team's promotional tales as a result. However, we must examine the time frame of the snub in order to fully appreciate the seriousness of this insult. The committee's justifications were, at best, tenuous when the lineup was revealed. They discussed defensive harmony, seniority, and experience. They asserted that they required players who had experienced the rigors of global competition. However, those justifications fall apart when you examine the numbers and Clark's offensive output. It was a personal choice. It had to do with politics. The smoking gun that demonstrates this is the jersey number 12 rumor. It implies that they wanted to include her, but only after they had humbled her. Without her sparkle, they desired her productivity. They intended to sell tickets using her name, but they made her sit on the bench while wearing an irrelevant number. It is a traditional kind of hazing, more appropriate for a high school cafeteria than the top level of professional athletics. And that's precisely why there has been such a strong pushback. The supporters are not foolish. They are able to distinguish between an ego decision and a basketball decision. This irony is so thick that it could be sliced with a knife. WNBA players have battled for respect for years. They have battled for increased compensation, media attention, and chartered planes. They have pleaded with everyone to take notice. Finally, a player who has the attention of everyone on the planet shows up. Arenas are sold out by her. She sets new records for viewership. The league has never seen her move merchandise at such a high rate. What is the establishment's function? They attempt to bury her. They attempt to conceal her near the end of the bench and put her in jersey number 12. Sports economists and marketing professionals are furious about this degree of self-sabotage. The league and the networks are thought to have lost millions of dollars in potential revenue as a result of Clark's absence from the Olympics. And for what purpose? To preserve the sentiments of certain veterans who fear losing their place in the spotlight? Sophie Cunningham's participation in the opposition to this choice shows that not everyone is prepared to wreck the ship in order to exact revenge on the captain. Let's examine the old guard mindset that stoked this fire in more detail. The face of this opposition has been Diana Taurasi, a great in the game. Many saw her remarks that reality is coming as a warning that the veterans would not make things easy for the rookie, and they haven't. The welcome wagon has been non-existent, from harsh fouls to criticism from the media. The Olympic roster was meant to be the pinnacle of meritocracy, a gathering place for the nation's finest. However, the committee transformed Team USA into a country club by putting seniority ahead of current effect. Instead of upheaval, they opted for comfort. They were aware that the media circus would ensue if Clark joined the team. She would be the focus of every practice, game, and press conference. It was obvious that the veterans, who had led the league in relative obscurity for 10 years, didn't want to share that platform. The comment about the jersey number was probably a test. Will she give in? We offer her leftovers. Will she accept them? They completely released her when she responded with silence. However, quiet is a potent weapon, and Caitlin Clark has made excellent use of it. Clark has said very little while the internet erupts in fury on her behalf. Commentators argue over the roster's fairness, and there are rumors that Sophie Cunningham won't play along. She hasn't voiced any complaints. She hasn't lost her temper. She's just returned to her job. Whether she is a rookie or not, she is shattering assist records, recording triple-doubles, and demonstrating every night that she is among the world's top players. Her detractors are enraged by her silence. They want her to lose it. In order to defend their treatment of her, they want her to act entitled. However, she draws attention to how trivial the league's actions are by taking the high road. They would have dubbed her a diva if she had objected to being awarded jersey number 12. She reveals them as the bullies by ignoring it and concentrating on basketball. It is impossible to overestimate Sophie Cunningham's significance in this story. Although we sometimes see sports through the prism of individual conflicts, partnerships are frequently the true story. Cunningham embodies the WNBA's grinder attitude. Darling, she's not a media personality. She battles for every bit of respect she receives. Millions of admirers who share her displeasure at Clark's treatment would be validated if the reports are accurate. It demonstrates that these are not only irrational fan theories. It demonstrates that there is an awareness within the league that things have gone too far. Her failure to participate in the narrative may indicate a spiritual boycott of the hazing culture rather than a real refusal to attend games. It is an unwillingness to participate in the methodical dismantling of a generational talent. The league office receives a message from it. We're observing, and we don't like what we see. The selection committee itself must also be discussed. Who are these people, and why do they feel so at ease making choices that appear to deliberately impede the development of the sport? Former players, coaches, and administrators who have a strong connection to the WNBA's past comprise the committee. The gatekeepers are them. For them, being on the national team is a prize for years of service and a gold watch for a successful career. They don't see it as a marketing tool or an exhibition of the top talent available today. This train crash was brought on by the gap between the purists of basketball and the realities of commerce. They believed that if they excluded Clark from the squad, everyone would simply nod and say, "Okay, she needs to wait her turn." They misinterpreted the room entirely. They were unaware that Caitlin Clark is the WNBA to the younger generation of fans. It's like throwing a concert and ordering the main act to wait in the parking lot when she leaves her house. What about the actual jersey number? Why is number 12 so painful? Numbers are identity in the psychology of sports. Wayne Gretzky is 99, Michael Jordan is 23, and Caitlin Clark is 22. It would be an attempt to deprive her of her identity to give her any other number. However, offering a number that is specifically linked to the end of the bench is a particular kind of psychological warfare. You are interchangeable, it says. On a larger scale, it is a microaggression. It's the kind of stuff that leaves athletes with a lifelong chip on their shoulder. If this rumor is accurate, the committee produced a monster rather than merely deciding on a roster. They provided Clark with all the inspiration she would ever need to smash every record in the book. And when she finally